Imagine a man with no home, no money, and a little son to take care of. Most people would break under this pressure, but Chris Gardner turned his pain into power. His journey from being homeless with a child in his arms to becoming a millionaire stockbroker is one of the most powerful real-life success stories. This is not just about wealth. It is about faith, determination, and never giving up, even when the whole world says it is impossible. Welcome to Fuel for Hustlers, the place where we bring you stories that prove nothing can stop a determined heart. Chris Gardner was born in 1954 in Milwaukee, USA. His childhood was filled with struggles. He grew up in poverty and saw violence in his own home. From the beginning, life gave him every reason to lose hope, but Chris refused to let misery define him. As he grew older, he joined the Navy, later worked as a medical equipment salesman, and dreamed of giving his family a better future. But things did not go as planned. He invested everything he had in bone density scanners, hoping to sell them to doctors. Unfortunately, most doctors were not interested. The machines were expensive and difficult to sell. His money ran out, his debts grew, and his relationship broke apart. Soon, Chris was left alone with his little son, Christopher Jr. Now picture this scene. A man with a small child in his arms wandering the streets with nowhere to go. Sometimes they stayed in shelters, sometimes on benches, and sometimes even in public restrooms. Chris remembers holding the bathroom door shut so that his boy could sleep safely on the floor. The pain of those nights was unimaginable, but giving up was never an option. He kept telling himself one day things would change. One day, Chris saw a man parking a shiny red Ferrari. Curious, he asked, "What do you do for a living?" The man replied, "I am a stockbroker." That single answer changed the direction of Chris Gardner's life. He decided that no matter what it took, he would become a stockbroker too. He applied for an internship at a brokerage firm. It paid nothing, but Chris saw it as his one chance. Without a college degree, without connections, and while carrying the weight of being homeless, he worked harder than anyone else. Every morning, he arrived in clean clothes, no matter how difficult the night had been. He studied day and night, learned the language of finance, and refused to let his personal struggles affect his performance. With his son by his side, he fought through hunger, sleepless nights, and endless rejection. Finally, his hard work paid off. Chris was offered a full-time job. That was the turning point. From that moment, he began to rise step by step in the world of finance. With discipline and relentless hustle, he eventually built his own firm, Gardner Rich & Company. The man who once had nothing built a life of abundance and became a millionaire stockbroker. But the true value of this story is not the wealth he created. It is the lesson that success does not depend on where you start. Success depends on how much you can endure, how much faith you hold on to, and how hard you are willing to work when everything seems against you. Chris Gardner proved that circumstances do not define destiny. His life story later inspired the Hollywood movie The Pursuit of Happyness, starring Will Smith. Millions of people were touched by the film, but the real man behind the story is even more inspiring. He lived through nights of despair, moments of hopelessness, and crushing poverty, yet he never gave up. Whenever life feels impossible, remember Chris Gardner. Remember the father who held his son close on cold nights in a public restroom and still dreamed of a better tomorrow. Remember the man who turned hopelessness into fuel and reached the heights of success. If he could do it, so can you. Thank you for watching. If this story inspired you, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to Fuel for Hustlers. Together, let us spread the message that no struggle is too big when your hustle is strong.